The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses was first given a preview a few months ago, and to mostly positive reception, mostly from people who had read the manga and loved the fact that it was getting an anime release later that year. But since then, and more recently, a second preview has come out to hype up the anime once more, but it didn't exactly receive the same reaction as before.
It's not a bad thing, but when you start a trailer off and like this is the first thing you're greeted with, you're like, wow, this looks really good. Like this, this 360 shot with the lighting and all that. But then, like, some of the angles, like this and all that, it looks very weird.
Especially on Twitter, because, that's the place where you go to bring up a big fuss about something besides Discord. Where some were praising the art style and the quality of the anime itself before, they were now questioning the direction behind the anime itself, and yes, it's literally all to do with visuals. Bringing up the preview myself and watching it all throughout, I made a point of something. Specifically, there was something that threw me off. Something to do with the perspectives and the angles used there, and if you watch it, yeah. The CG and the drawn animation are smooth, but the perspectives and camera angles used here can be pretty disorientating. And it's literally just the scene of the main character Komura going up a flight of stairs to his classroom. I'm not sure why this was decided for this anime specifically, because these would be the kind of things you would expect from an action series. It's indicative of a scene with pretty heavy action, but it's used on a mundane activity. Oh, speaking of action series, yeah, they did this with a series like that too. So this is Handshakers, an anime by the studio called GoHands. And wouldn't you know, the studio is also responsible for the creation of the Glasses anime. But in Handshakers, this has got to be some of the worst merging of CG and drawn animation I've ever seen in my life. And to be honest, I've seen Spiders anime, so that's saying something. The camera movements do not feel as fluent as the Drawn in One's animation, and it leads to something that, yes, looks smooth, but also looks rigid due to how the camera moves. It's ambitious, sure, but it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing to the eye. I bet you anything with the Glasses anime, people will be like, but this is literally some of the best treatment you're receiving for an anime. Why can't you be grateful you even got a good looking adaptation? You see, that's not even half of the concern with Glasses at the moment. The problem isn't that we don't like it even if the character design and quality seems good outside of the CG being used. The problem is more nuanced than that. It's more, why has it been directed in such an odd way to where some scenes have perspectives and camera angles that are indicative of action scenes? Why include some additional animation that doesn't feel properly necessary, especially in comparison to what was in the manga, and give animators much more of a hard time? And why try to include all of this when it doesn't really give the right sort of tone depending on what scene it's trying to portray? It brings up the main question I felt was necessary to discuss here, of how much animation direction is too much. Would you rather prefer your anime series to be stylized but much more lax in terms of animation or direction? Or would you want more series with what Glasses anime has to offer? Where would you set the bar? In complete honesty, I do like things with really good intent to appeal, which is why I can get why Glasses anime still does have its fans. Because yeah, despite me saying all of what I had said, it is ambitious. It is something that you would never usually expect. That should be encouraged. But you have to make sure that you and the staff you have know what you're doing in order to make this look appealing to the eye. Because I don't think here that sort of thing was taken into consideration or with delicate care, as was with other GoHands properties prior. If this style of rotoscoping and animation isn't to almost everyone's general taste, then try to at least evolve or change the formula with your animation style. But that's my 2 cents at least. And I would love to know how any of you feel about this sort of animation style. But yeah, quick video, nothing too special. I thought I wanted to touch on this for a little bit, and hey, by all means, be creative with your adaptations, but always try to get a second opinion on things.